Hi, everyone. I am Lauren Konkar-Sheehy, the Executive Director of the Garden State Film Festival, and I'm so thrilled to have you join us today. The 24th Annual Garden State Film Festival has 205 films from 19 different countries, and we have 9 venues. And everything wraps up like a bow at the awards dinner at the Ocean Place Resort in Long Branch, New Jersey on Sunday, March 29th. So get your tickets today at gsff.org. Today, I am so excited to have Brian Russell with us, who's the writer and editor of Sit With Me While I Die. Brian Russell is an award winning filmmaker whose work often explores deeply human stories centered on faith, mortality, and ethical questions at life's most vulnerable moments. His films are known for their emotional honesty and their ability to spark meaningful conversation beyond the screen. Hi, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Lauren. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
We are so excited to be showcasing your film, Sit With Me While I Die, at the Garden State Film Festival. How did you, this is a topic that has been, prevalent on so many people's minds, but it's a topic that some people don't even like to talk about. So how did you get to the point of writing this film and coming to it? Did you have a personal experience with this?
Well, I didn't have a personal experience myself, not specifically. I mean, I think all of us have probably known people and probably even had loved ones who have had terminal illnesses and have passed away. But in this particular case, James Naughton, who is a frequent collaborator of mine, he's a two-time Tony Award-winning actor. Most of you have seen him, even if you don't know his name. I was literally sitting in his house and we were talking one day, and his wife passed away after a 4-year battle with pancreatic cancer. At the end of her life, she wanted people to have options as to what happens next, self-determination, the ability to decide when and how they transition, especially when faced with the certainty of imminent death, and to alleviate suffering. So while Jim and I were talking about this, we sort of came up with the idea of a narrative film that was set against the backdrop of medical aid and dying. For him, this is very much a film that is about medical aid and dying and designed to sort of spark conversation around that specific cause. For me, I approach it from a different standpoint. And when I wrote it with my co-writer, Ross Popik, the idea was, how do we talk about death? Because I feel like we as a society and as a culture don't do a very good job talking about death. We even our doctors don't address it. They talk about how we're going to treat things. They talk about how we're going to give chemotherapy or radiation or some new experimental treatment. They don't ever talk about, like, well, wait a minute, should we be pursuing these treatments when the end of life is near?
So cool. And while you were making the film, did maybe your mind change of what you initially thought, how you would feel about this topic? Did you come full circle and think, wow, maybe it is a good idea? Or were you set on that medical assistance is necessary?
Well, I went into this very much on the side that we should be able to, make choices for ourselves and that we should have the right to self-determination. And so my mind was not really changed. I mean, when I was writing this, the end game was to kind of make this case for our right to self-determination. And in fact, the initial title, the working title of the film was Determination. And we changed it because we wanted something that would grab people. And this title is very on the nose, but also people know exactly what they're getting into, and it also piques people's curiosity. Like when they read the title, so many people say to me, like, "Oh my God, I have to see this movie. What is this about?" So I wouldn't say that I changed my mind, but what I did discover through the process was a better understanding of kind of both sides of the equation. My film features a priest who is struggling with his lifelong dogmatic views, and it features one of his parishioners who is dying of cancer. And in the process of writing this with Ross, I was able to come to a better understanding of what people who are opposed to medical aid and dying might be thinking, or what they might be going through. In the end, I still come out on the side of, we should, if you believe in personal rights and personal liberty, then this is something that I don't know how you don't believe in this. But everybody's different. And the other thing I wanted to do was not have a film that whacks people over the head, but but something that could navigate the complexities of the subject matter and make it a human story. Because at the end of the day, if it's not a human story, then it doesn't work. Like, then you just have a PSA. And that was the thing that I didn't want to do. And I don't know, I think we walked that line pretty well.
It's wonderful. I love it. And I do feel like unless you have gone through the personal experience of actually sitting with somebody while they are transitioning and passing and experiencing all of the different moments and levels of that transition, I don't know if you could really fully understand what it entails. And until you get to that point, I don't know if you can really have a good opinion.
Well,
I myself has gone through it twice.
yeah, I'm so sorry. I mean, these are difficult things to go through. However, one of the things that I often talk about in talkbacks, or I do a lot of like community screenings for this film to older audiences, to a variety of audiences. But one of the things I often talk about is all of us are probably one bad death away from embracing the idea of medical aid in dying. And most people's minds who are changed because they have a loved one who goes through a really difficult, tortured, suffering, death. And I think it's really important for us to be able to like come together and embrace death. Like, death isn't a bad thing. Death is not something to be avoided. I'm not saying we rush towards it, but as they say, nobody gets out alive. It's coming for all of us in one way or another. And there's a quote by the screenwriter Alex Garland, and I'm gonna actually look here and read it so I don't get it wrong. But there are many kinds of death, and some are better than others. The best are peaceful, where we leave each other in love. Memento moris, remember, you must love. And for me, this sums it all up, is that we're all going to die, but how do we do the best job we can to transition with love, and transition with our loved ones around us?
It's really magical if you get to experience that. And also the production quality. I do want to mention the audio was great, the voiceover was great, everything was superb, as well as the casting. How did you come to get all of that together? Are you used to working with the same crew?
Well, this was about half the crew was pre-existing crew, and about half the crew was new. So Chris Lind is a Bloomfield, New Jersey resident, and he's the DP of the film. He was somebody that was newly introduced to me, but I looked at his reel, we talked, and it felt like it would be a real, and I was looking to do something different in the cinematography for this film. And he really knocked it out of the park. Like, I love this film. I know it's my movie, and maybe this is arrogant to say it, but I love the way this movie looks. And then Ross and I have collaborated a number of times before, so we had written together before. My wife, Lisa, is a co-producer on the film. But there was a variety of people who all came together. Film is a team sport, and all of the players came together and made this like amazing thing. It's hard to believe that it's like out in the world and that you can watch it, on a big screen. So super proud of it. And thank you for, commenting on those things.
Oh, you're welcome. It's really beautiful. And I love that also it's New Jersey.
Yeah. No, Chris is, I don't know if he's a New Jersey native, although I think he might be, but he certainly lives in Bloomfield right now.
Oh, cool. That's amazing. I hope to meet him at the film festival. And so we have a huge educational component of the Garden State Film Festival. Do you have any words of wisdom to a student or an emerging filmmaker who's just starting out?
Well, first, I say lay down until the feeling to make a movie goes away. And if it doesn't go away after you lay down, then make it in any way you can. And start with the phone. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, we had nothing, not even video cameras. And then, like, when I was a little older, we had video cameras, but then it was really hard to edit. Now you could literally make, Left-Handed Girl is on Netflix right now. It was shot entirely on an iPhone. An iPhone with a relatively inexpensive, I think it was about $350 of like cage and lens, and maybe another $500 or $1,000 for the gimbal that they shot it on. But that movie looks amazing. And it's all shot on a phone. So we have the technology, we have the ability to do it. You don't have to spend $50,000 to make your short film. So I just tell people, just make it. When I started in video, which was late in life, I was a midlife career changer. I spent the first year and I made 200 shorts in that first year. They weren't short films exactly. They were music videos. They were family event videos. They were sometimes they were like experimental. But I just spent that first year shooting, editing, trying to figure out how you tell a story. And that, I think, served me, it served me really well.
That's awesome. At Brookdale Community College, at Brookdale Television, we do the same thing with our students. Start small, baby steps before you can crawl and walk and run. But that is amazing. So I'm really excited. Your film is playing at the Asbury Lanes. The film block is AL9. And everybody, you're going to want to get your tickets today. Is there anything? Wait, let's talk about St. Michael the dog. That was amazing.
Well, St. Michael the dog is actually Hondo, James Naughton's real life dog. Excuse me. I just got back from 2 weeks at film festivals and my voice is still recovering.
I get the same thing. Yeah.
But Hondo the dog is James Naughton's real life dog. And when we wrote this, we knew one of the things that would be important was to have humor in the film. So the St. Michael the dog, if you watch the film, there's a reference around that usually elicits a pretty big laugh. People are often surprised at how funny this movie is. Even we wrote all these jokes in there because I believe you have to break drama and tension with laughter. And I personally love that. But it was shocking to me the first couple of times I watched this film with an audience, how much laughter there is. And even in death, even in horrible pain, there are moments of joy and moments of laughter. And Hondo the dog, St. Michael the dog, that's the character's name, provides a couple of great jokes. He also provides a real counterbalance. There's a line in the movie that I'll spoil, but our main character, Gwen, says to Father Ethan, the priest, we treat our dogs better than we treat our humans. And I believe that is often true. Like, we do not allow our animals to suffer in the way that we force our humans to suffer.
I have goosebumps like all over my body with that one. That is true. Unbelievable. So I can't even express enough how excited we are to screen that. And we have a lot of partnerships with senior facilities. And what you just mentioned earlier about how you're playing it for the community, we have to get in touch and talk about Arbor Terrace and some other places.
I would love that. Like, this coming Tuesday, I have a screening for an organization called Silver Source, and they're a nonprofit that provides services to older adults who need help. And so they're doing a screening series with a bunch of my films. I have a lot of films that are geared towards like older adults. And the issues, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're dramas, but it's sort of like thematically one of the places I gravitate towards.
Wow, that's amazing. So I hope to keep in touch with you. I can't wait to see you at the film festival. And everyone, get your tickets today. Go to gsff.org. If you go on the website underneath film info, download Listings at a Glance. That's going to give you the bird's eye view of our entire schedule. We have 42 different film blocks. What does that mean? It means we have 42 different times that you can see 1.5 hours to 2 hours of films. You can walk in and see a music video, an animation, a short, a feature, anything your heart desires. We also have cinema for the ears, which is great for everybody, but especially for those with low or no vision. It's an audio description. And if you look at our Listings at a Glance and in our program book, every single film that has subtitles is marked. We always try to have at least one entire film block that has all subtitles. And we're just so thrilled to have your wonderful work with us, Brian. Thank you so much. And we will see you in Asbury Park in Cranford, New Jersey, March 26th to the 29th, 2026. It's our 24th year. Next year, we're turning 25. Can you believe it?
Thanks, Lauren. I hope everybody comes out to the movies.
Yeah, we'll see you at the movies. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye.